I think supply
100%.
is definitely 10x. A lot of the buyers for plots are just land bankers. They're putting their money away in plots rather than the bank.
Thinking, where is the government of Dubai spending money? Where is the government of Dubai having plans for the future?
So in the next 2-3 years, there's going to be a cleansing, I believe.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean about cleansing? There's a developer in town that's bigger than Shoba in India. Their first project is in JVC.
Welcome to the MainMic, your source of truth from the Dubai business and real estate market. With me, you have Bardia today and Walid. We're going to go over a lot of the perspectives, the rumors, the source of truth for those rumors, so that we can be that platform you can count on to be able to solve those myths in the marketplace.
There's a lot of myths.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah, and I really wanna thank you for this, because I think Dubai, UAE, and even the whole region needs a podcast like this, where there is a point of reference. Whatever is happening in the world, when we're gonna see or we wanna search what's gonna happen to Dubai because of what's happening globally.
Correct.
There is no point of reference.
Yeah.
So you gotta be the first person who's gonna be doing this. I'm happy to be a part of this podcast, and I'm happy to watch it.
No, thank you guys for joining us.
Truthfully said.
Yeah.
I think that, like for me, when I first moved here 5 years ago, I felt like as if that I can't find people that I can relate to have a serious brotherhood and conversation with. And you guys have allowed me to be able to feel comfortable, to be able to be completely unveiled, completely, I think, who Americans are really like.
That's
truly...
how you know he's from Miami. He says it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he say, because we talked about it so many times in our podcast, me and Bardia, that here people, they don't open up, you know, and sometimes you see someone and you feel like you can open up with this person. Yeah. And because from their culture, they're coming from a culture like this. In Algeria, Africa, same thing. We're like very cool people. So we open up.
Definitely. I've had like recently some challenges that I was looking to think that, is this just me or is this just the marketplace? But yeah, you're working with a lot of developers and you've seen perspective from a broker perspective and a developer perspective. Do you think there's been a shift in the marketplace recently? Do you think
the shift?
Been something?
Okay, what do you mean? Secondary off plan, or are we talking transactions?
I would say mid-tier developers, developers looking for buyers for their projects all over town, whether it be for John, whether it be Dubai Islands. Have you seen developers see a shift in the marketplace for demand?
They're so interesting. 3-4 months ago, I posted something, just a picture with my little insights.
Yeah.
I go by Ads Manager.
Yeah.
I look at the numbers on Ads Manager based on countries that we target, how much attraction it gets.
Yeah.
And that's actual, right? It's real, it's right there, you'll see. So I'm like BBC internally, I see what's going on, right? There's been a major shift domestically, as far as I can tell. A year ago, a lot of people from Dubai, from the UAE that lived here used to purchase just generally a lot of off-plan.
Yeah.
Now, I just see domestically them purchasing projects, certain projects that are super, super prime that they know about, the reputatable developers, super reputatable developers. They used to purchase the smaller developers as well that go 5 projects out, 3 projects out, 10 projects out. Now, that's only from Europe. Majority is from Europe. So they're not seeing the same purchase power from the people that live here, regardless if it's local or expats living here.
So you saying
the
that
EMARs and that, like when it comes to Mina Rashi, like the EMARs, those like Shobas and all of that, still like domestically a lot, right? But all of the smaller developers, you know, the ones that started 700, 800, 900K and up.
Yeah.
The majority of them are coming only from Europe, and that's based on the fact that Europeans don't have that much leverage in the sense of payment plan is super attractive and super important for them. So they get attractive payment plans. This is what I've seen, definitely, for sure. Because I'm looking at cost per lead and I'm looking at traffic. We used to perform 40 dirhams per lead domestically. Now domestically, 40 dirham per lead had turned into 90, 80 to 100. But the traffic it's the same traffic, but less people are applying for it. Same type of content, better content. We've improved content-wise compared to a year ago. Better, much better, but still. But then when we run European ads, I'm seeing certain countries, certain cities, certain projects, 30 dirham, 40 dirham, 25 dirham.
That's what people are calling road shows. Yeah, they call it road show. I don't know if you heard about it.
No, road show is different. This is just from a lead generation perspective from here, from us. Road shows is when you go. I did a road show in Sweden this summer with a friend
let's talk
of mine.
about that road shows, because a lot of people, they don't understand what's a road show.
Of course they do. I mean, what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, in real estate they do. Road show is basically a real estate company going to another country, renting a seminar room or lobby space or whatever the case may be in a hotel. Right? Advertising beforehand, a month before, 6 weeks before. We're coming to you at this time, this date, or these dates in this hotel, and come fill out an application and reserve your seat. They come, they get the leads like that because now they can actually touch and feel a couple of people coming all the way from Dubai to talk about Dubai.
See, like when the buyer's not coming through your doors, you got to go to the buyer.
Exactly.
And that's when roadshows become more and more necessary in a developer's market arsenal. And I've seen, definitely myself and also a lot of friends of mine that are developers put more and more, more and more confidence in the roadshow to be part of their marketing plan than ever before. It's not because there's less demand. I think there's just too much supply. I think supply
100%.
is definitely 10x.
100%.
And the consumption is there. But now, before, a buyer just had maybe 3 options to choose from. Now they have 10. And so it's really confusing for a buyer to pick a brand or a location when they come to Dubai for a week to decide. So it's better to be able to create that relationship before they even get to Dubai. So I think roadshows have become a very good way to be able to have a captive audience that understands your brand, your location, rather than just waiting for them to come through your doors.
I mean, I totally agree with that because I've been as a podcaster for the last 8 months. So I interviewed a lot of real estate agents, and I feel like this is the trend when it comes to selling because, as you said, domestically or internally, everybody is congested. So everybody is going outside now.
But the good news is though that there is demand, right? I can say that even today, like very mega projects and small scale projects, they sell out. It's not that they don't sell out. The problem is that where now a buyer has 10 different options to choose from, which is great for the buyer,
more confused.
Right? But for the developer, obviously, we're having to spend more money to be able to bring that lead through our doors versus our competitors.
Also, I want to know because there is a lot of struggles that a developer face. I mean, people think real estate is a struggle for the broker, but when I met you, Amir, I was like, these guys are going through hell. And I think one of the markers that we're having a good market is that developers that are coming, like boutique developers such as you, when they come to this market, if the market is dead, it's going to be easy to buy plots, right? But I noticed this, what's new for me in real estate, regardless of the road shows, is that this plot acquisition is a whole other world. And nobody's talking about it.
In US, you would usually buy a plot if you're a developer. But when you come to Dubai, that's not the only buyer you're competing with as a developer trying to acquire that plot. A lot of the buyers for plots are just land bankers. They're putting their money away in plots rather than the bank. So you're dealing with that as the number one competitor to be able to acquire plots.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, there is only limited areas where you can go out there and make the numbers work as a developer. And all developers with a growing population of small mid-tier developers, you have now 20 developers going after that one plot rather than before, maybe like last year or the year before, there was 5 or 10, right?
Wow.
So that has changed the game. And as we know, location is still something that sells real estate. Regardless of what the economy does, location will always sell. And the key locations obviously has bidding wars, and has that demand flocking towards it,
Yeah.
whether it be a land banker or a developer trying to buy that plot. And having that right access to that plot is really what makes or breaks a developer.
You know, I witnessed an interesting conversation last time between you and Bardia. And I understand from that conversation, and I know Bardia, he have a lot to say about this, is that it's like a chess game. If you know where Dubai is going, if you have the intelligence to pick the right spot that before other developers are going to pick, you win the game.
True.
If you do it after, you will have this like one plot, there is 20 developers that want to get it.
Yeah.
And I was like impressed about like the way you were seeing Dubai, because you've been here for a long time, Bardi, like 11 years.
On and off, 11 years.
Yeah, like in terms of plot acquisition, like how do you, if you are a developer, if you are like in Amir's shoes, how you will think when it comes to picking up a plot?
I don't know the prices because I'm not a plot guy.
Yeah.
I learned from him about FAR and GPA and all of that. I'm not a plot guy. I've never dealt with plots. I don't know nothing about developments. I find it super interesting.
Yeah.
But just logically thinking, where is the government of Dubai spending money? Where is the government of Dubai having plans for the future? There's a couple of key areas.
Correct.
We have the Palm Jebel Ali and Jebel Ali village area. We have Dubai South area. Now, how many kilometers in circumference? I don't know, but whatever you want to put it.
Yeah.
The valley area that Emaar launching, several phases, that area. And of course, Dubai Islands and Mina Rashid and Maritime City area. Creek Harbor, cool, but that's Emaar, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Emaar sells plots in Creek. I doubt it. I think it's an Emaar full-on project, so you can't really acquire any land there. Cool.
Yeah.
Me, just common sense. I could be dead wrong because I don't know nothing about plots. But common sense, wherever the government is spending money and funds and investments for the future, you need to find something around that area because around that area is booming. Not only from your standpoint of getting an entry ticket in, because right now Dubai South is it's just in talks.
Correct.
Nothing's really happened.
Yeah.
They're about to expand the airport. They're about to, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much easier for a developer to sell their project when the project sells itself. So when you position yourself in an area that has such significant future and so much planned from a governmental standpoint in that area, you don't need to sell them. We have 55 amenities. Dubai's first ever.
It's a necessity rather than a luxury.
If you look at certain developments, great projects, but they're offering so much. They're overdoing so much of offerings because there's nothing in that area that backs anything up.
So I will say that like when we used to, and we still do, develop in US, we had one indicator that created the opportunity for a developer to flock that way to create developments.
Yeah.
And it was jobs.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Brickell area?
Every area that where you have jobs,
Yeah.
you do an analysis. How many jobs is this going to create? How many basic jobs? How many
people need
jobs
somewhere to live?
Are going to be created off of that industry or that company that is coming to an area? And based upon that is where we developed.
Yeah, exactly.
Responsibly for that. However, Dubai has a different dynamic. If we developed only for the purposes of jobs, I think 80% of the developments we see today would have not ever been probably started.
Yeah.
Here, it started off as speculation, right?
Yeah.
Build it and they will come. Right?
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
That mentality.
It was only an investors market 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
Like 80%
And
investors market.
Dubai did so great in making sure that the world knew where Dubai was and what it's all about, that those projects sold off.
Yeah.
And slowly but gradually now, with a lot of the changes in the laws to be able to allow for residents to become more permanent and more solid grounds to be able to build their life and their families over here, people now started to build to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be here for 10 years. I don't want to rent anymore. I want to buy and make this home, right? And now they're going all in.
Yeah.
And now developers are basically following that trend to be able to develop. And now I think slowly but gradually you're seeing true elements of how development is really done. It's based upon jobs, it's based upon consumer demand, it's upon lifestyles, it's upon traffic patterns, it's upon industries, all that stuff. But that takes time. And now I think that's where the opportunity in Dubai as a developer is, that the developer that's allowing themselves to be able to truly serve that need of that customer rather than just luxurious marketing and nice offices and attractive payment plans. That I think if you are able to meet the true needs of the consumer, and of course do it in a way that where it's still sustainable for the consumer to be able to buy your unit versus renting or so on and so forth, then is when I think you'll be successful. So in the next 2-3 years, there's going to be a cleansing, I believe.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean about cleansing?
You know, from a spiritual
It
standpoint,
sounds controversial, and I like
look,
it.
when you hear cleansing in a spiritual thing, it's a good term.
Yeah.
But cleansing in business is the opposite.
What do you
It's
mean by that? What do you mean by that?
I think that what happened over the course of the last 2 years, right? There was developers, I had friends that would sell off buildings without having an office, without even having like the true fundamentals of what
business,
sales in US used to be known for, right? And when I told my friends that, oh, I'm gonna be opening my own office, 6,700 square feet in the middle of Dubai Hills, they said, you're only launching your first project. Why do you need all that? Right? I said, no, I wanna give a true consumer experience that where they can look, see, feel, touch what we're all about, and know that we're here for the long run, where we're invested, where we put, and, we went all in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And when we did that, like a lot of people were like, you don't need to do all that. It's only the first project. You got to prove yourself and make some money from the business, and then you basically invest back in. I said that when I say the true cleansing, I think that cleansing is going to happen is where those speculators that are building only for the purposes of profit, they're not going to be able to see the margins that they're used to making, and they're going to exit.
You know what? I so agree with you.
Yeah.
We're seeing that now.
Yeah.
We're seeing that now. Many developers, right? Like it's fun for you to know.
Yeah.
I can't name them because it's just not nice. But many developers, the first 2 projects, wow, snagging, the detailing, every corner of every door, every list done to perfection. Everything perfect. The choices of material. Everyone talks about finishing in Dubai. What is finishing? There's two sides of finishing. There's choice of materials and snagging. How they've snagged it. That's what finishing means, right?
Yeah.
But people get that term a little bit. You can create a great building with poor quality in terms of materials, and it's gonna break down much quicker, right? So not many, but there's a handful of developers I know. I'm thinking, what happened to those days? Like that project and that project was unbelievable. Like, why is everything hollow now? Why is this door much thinner now? Why is this door of MDF now? Like, what is going on, right? Because they're thinking exactly what he said, only on profits. Those guys are not here for the super long run.
Yeah.
They're here to make an exit, sell that company, and leave and start something else.
Yeah.
Like make a copy paste or whatever underneath another copy, underneath another company, underneath another management on paper. So it's not breaching contracts when you sell a project, etc., selling a company. I so agree with that, man. I so agree with that. 100%.
But I think it's human nature. Like when the money happens, if they don't love what you're doing, when the money happens, they reduce the quality.
It's a
rather
business.
than increase the quality. I think it's about loving what you're doing, not
100%.
just follow. Because there's a lot of billionaires and millionaires in Dubai.
It's about exit plan, bro.
Yeah.
It's about exit plan. Like,
Exactly.
what is the exit plan? Like, it's business. So what is the exit plan? Some families want to be a traditional restaurant family until they die, so they can pass that on to their sons and daughters and grandchildren. Some people get into it because they find a little an opportunity, and they're thinking my exit plan is in the next 5 years.
True.
I'm going to be a part of this, then I'm going to exit.
Exactly.
Those guys are just going to think about profits because they've limited their time of doing this anyway.
Correct.
Right?
So you're thinking the cleansing is gonna be them exiting the market and keeping only the good ones.
The cleansing is going to be, let me just answer this.
Yeah.
I think this is what I think. Cleansing is going to be the companies that seize an opportunity, especially after post-COVID. A lot of companies around, a lot of countries around the world have major financial issues. People are tired of crime. People are tired of unnecessary taxing. They see a big trend of people putting their money here. They're thinking, it's an opportunity. It's not like I'm a developer, I've always been a developer. They could fund developers. There could be 20 funding people behind the developer. Let's execute these 3-4 years, release 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 projects, build it, and then done.
Yeah.
Right? Whilst you have companies, developers that are actual developers. This is what they do.
Yeah.
They're like Mercedes-Benz, Nokia, when Nokia was around,
Nokia.
like iPhone. This is what they do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is it.
Correct.
This is
It's
their
their
company.
passion.
That's
It's what
their
they're known for.
ethos,
Correct.
period.
Yeah.
So
So for how many years you were developing in Miami?
I started my real estate career back in 2001. I started off as a broker.
I got a lot to learn from you, my man.
2001, I was 7 years old, or 8 years, I was a kid.
Broker is
Yeah.
how I started.
Which
I
area was your
always
favorite?
in sales.
Which area was your
Miami,
favorite? Yeah, but which
Miami,
area was
all
your
areas.
favorite?
I was single family, residential. I slowly went into commercial. Then we went into investment. We built a portfolio. We worked with a lot of national brands and also banks to be able to sell off their portfolios in the heydays of foreclosures. And that helped me be able to build an appetite from a perspective that, okay, you know what? I understand the marketing perspective of real estate. I understand now the building perspective of it. And like now, where do I take this to the next level? And there were some limitations that I faced. And also, of course, curiosity is really what brought me to Dubai. And I said, hey, I need to basically take this to the next level. And so since 2001, I've been at this. And like you said, the cleansing is going to happen of the people that are just truly chasing a profit. And I feel like the people that are truly passionate about serving their customer, they're going to be able to survive and thrive.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And that brings the opportunity, I think, for the people that are truly being able to do two things and two things only in a business. Innovation and marketing.
Yeah.
I've learned this through a lot of gurus of business, and Tony Robbins, to be specific.
I love that guy.
Yeah, you've been to any of his events?
I didn't, but I watched a lot of his events.
Man, you have to be at one of those events. Events go on like a concert. It's
Yeah,
like
I've
3
seen that,
days
yeah.
non-stop, like where energy, like as if you're thinking that you're going to an event where you're going to be taking a lot of notes, but you're dancing and jumping up and down more than anything else. And it's that energy that you create is that what allows you to be able to open your mind and your thought process to be able to take on new ways of doing business. And this is one thing that he preaches is innovation and marketing. Those are the two things that are going to make any business thrive, and that's what businesses is. In the next 2 years, the people that can basically do that effectively and be able to add value to their customers, those are the ones that are going to be able to survive. And I think for me, I'm so excited. So excited that I entered when I did, and being able to have the challenges that we're facing today as part of our day-to-day business, because you know what? We're up for it. We've dealt with bad markets. We've dealt with good markets. We've dealt with like where the fish are jumping into the boat, and also where we have to go out there and fish.
You know something, like hearing you talking about innovation and marketing. I think in Dubai, when it comes to innovation, it's happening. There is innovation. It's true that there is a lot of developers. They're just using Dubai as an opportunity, but in the other side, there is a lot of developers that they're really innovating in terms of real estate. Marketing, we're getting better and better with time. Like me and Bardia, we're in this field.
Developers are not good marketers.
But brokerages are.
The brokerages that think long term.
And the developers
Brokerages can argue over 50,000 dirham, don't knowing very well if you sell one studio, you got 60K from the developer. So brokers here are very narrow-minded as well. But developers do not, like if you look at the developer from Miami, for example, or London, they market in a whole different way. They market. They're selling a product. Here, let's let all of the agencies run and do the legwork for us, and we give them a nice commission.
That's why they don't care about marketing. They have channel partners. They have brokers bringing them clients. Brokerages do the marketing. Developers do the building.
And then you can't, I mean, with all due respect to brokers, right? Brokers are honestly like what makes this business work for developers. And any developer in the market today wouldn't be as successful as they are if it wasn't for the brokers. But at the same time, developers have to be able to build their own brand. On their own abilities and their own internal teams.
Guidelines.
Yes, exactly. Because otherwise, you're never going to basically be able to add value to the consumer, right? Because it's going to basically be that whatever the broker says, you're going to have the buyer from the buyer's perspective. Whatever the broker wants to sell you today is what you're going to end up buying.
And
so
they
the developer has to do a better job on that.
They have full control over the lead.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something that's going to be added to two of the topics now. We're talking about innovation and developers and people coming for a short run just to make that little opportunity and dust, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a developer in town that's bigger than Shorba in India, okay?
Okay.
Their first, and I've done a bunch of videos for them. Their first project is in JVC, okay? You can just look at the prices and the plot prices in JVC and what they're giving you in terms of square footage. They're 30% or 15 or 20% larger units than the average in JVC. This is how we're talking about a serious developer. When you walk into their show apartment, okay, on the porcelain counter in the kitchen, they have, one of these plastic things that stand on tables. They're giving you a complete list of actual materials used in this project. Wow. Everything. It's so big, you're like, okay, this is good. Like, that's enough for trust, okay? Yeah. This is a developer that's serious. Now, coming back to brokerages, cool. Brokerages, they're the backbone of this market in Dubai, 100%. But when a broker has a lead, and a broker have a certain relationship with a certain developer, and they got a little side agreement on something in terms of compensation, he's just going to take that lead to your project, just to show them around a little bit, but he's got an end game already in mind. He's controlling everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And this broker, impossible for a human being to know every single development, all the materials used, all the subcontractors used, benefits, unique selling points, impossible. Yeah. They just got the sheet. They just know about what's available, what are the sizes, right? What are the kitchen appliances, and what are the amenities? Yeah. That's all they know. You ask a standard broker now, for example, okay, cool. So in the project Avilion, which subcontractor has been used? They have no idea. They're not into it. True. How are they? So how much real estate of brand do they have to know?
There's so many.
We have
projects,
700 plus projects in Dubai. We got close to 300,000 pending units to be handed over. I think it's over 700 or 800 projects in Dubai. How are they going to remember all of this?
No, of course.
So it's not fair for the developer.
And that's when, even from the consumer standpoint, it's really important to pick the right broker, I feel like.
Yeah.
Having that broker that has that product knowledge, the market knowledge, the abilities to be able to build that relationship with that developer, to be able to get the premium units or even the premium pricing or the payment plans, it's so important. But at the same time, from a developer standpoint, right? We have to do a better job. Me first. I don't, blame my industry, but I blame or take responsibility from me first. That we have to do a better job to be able to educate the brokers. It's because, like you said, there's so much inventory, right? And we can't just give them a 20-minute briefing and say, hey, go sell my project, right? We have to build that relationship. We have to give them education. We have to basically build that relationship and trust so that they understand that we deliver on our promises. So that we're not just a plastic, sign on the mock-up, that we're also delivering on that, right? And that's when I think like they can also go to war for us and be able to consume. Share that message to the consumer.
I always was like, why developers don't do their own sales? But just for you guys to burst my bubble, because I'm the least knowledgeable about real estate here. Yeah. What I thought is that when an investor comes to the market and he have, let's say, 20 developers in the market, each developer will say, oh, I'm the best, right? Yeah. So the job of the broker is that, no, I'll tell you which one is good for you as an investor. Because each investor, I believe, have a certain type of developer that cater for him specifically or her specifically. Yeah. So I think that's the main job of the broker in terms of the broker can filter the investor. So let's say this investor wants to be an end user or like a homeowner. Okay, there is this developer and this developer and this developer you can go to. Mm-hmm. If this person, he wants to buy bulk and rent or flip or whatever, okay, you have this developer in this stage of the construction. That's what I learned about the job of a broker. Yeah. But you guys are
truly the source of demand for a developer. For me, I can say that in-house sales, our company had done 0 sales in our last project. Why? Is because we have no interest whatsoever to be able to work with the buyer directly. We want to build alliances with brokerages. We want to build alliances with the top producing brokers in a marketplace, and then feed them the leads, feed them the marketing, feed them whatever sources of support that they need so that they can be successful in selling our project. And the reason why we do it that way is because we want to be the experts in building the product,
Okay.
not the demand, right? The demand should be left to the experts. The same way we leave it to the experts to be able to do the actual construction. The job of a developer, in my case, in my perspective, is that selecting the right plot, making sure that we pair it up with the right design, the floor plans and the fundamentals of a good payment plan, and then letting the market do their job, which are the brokers, to be able to sell the product, right? And I think a lot of the reputable developers, that's the way they do it. I mean, there's a lot of unethical developers out there also 100%. That basically are going to feed that buyer that walks through their doors to a in-house sales team or a some type of pocket broker that they have that they're going to feed that lead to. But for us, we've depended 100% on the broker community to be able to sell our projects. And we can say very, very successfully that we've sold our last project out with the help of all the brokers in town. And that's the way we plan to do every project going forward.
How long it took you to sell the whole thing? Like all 90% of it?
99% of it now. I mean, I think the last remaining units we still have some of them, and there's some of them where we have buyers that want to resell those units because of taking gain of the benefit of the market that it is. We launched May 21st, and by October we were completely out.
Wow.
How many first units? Project, 84 units for John. I would say that we're very successfully serving definitely I feel like
first project
our
in
team,
town. That's good.
Very proud, yes. And we were able to serve effectively the affordable luxury segment, which for John really I think is predominantly being able to serve. And I think the brand is going to be known for that. But aside from that, I think there's going to be a big space where Dubai has to serve is because we have the upcoming middle class that wants to make Dubai home, right? And not just rent to be here, but to buy and own to be here. And I think that right there is really going to be the segment where Main Realty
We spoke a lot about this. The people who want to make Dubai home, me and Bardia.
Rent to own?
Rent to own.
Not really rent to own. The ones that are moving from rentals to own, right?
Like
have an attractive payment plan.
From like a social standpoint, we have a lot of people lately that are thinking to live here for a long.
It's all thanks to the government.
100%.
We've said this 100 times.
Yeah.
When I moved here, we only had 2-year visas for employees, and investors was 3 years. There was no 5, 10. I think we even have 15 platinum or whatever it's called. Something like that. I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it. But the implementations of benefits for people being able to stay longer based on visas, that's the thriving force, and that's otherwise if they don't implement these things, we will never reach the 2040 vision of reaching 7.6 or 7.8 million population. All of the how are we gonna reach that if people always gonna see this as a quick bounce place and go, right? So this is all thanks to the government that has enabled people to 100%. Actually start considering this as their true. This is my true home. I'm not even registered in Sweden anymore. I've deregistered. No, it's true. I've deregistered. So this is my true home. You see what I'm saying? So
Look, there is also. We spoke about this with Anand and Zohaib in my last podcast, and I was. Anand is a person who is a good reference when it comes to real estate. And we all think that the government is doing the Golden Visa initiative for that. But he said the Golden Visa is just, it's not how the government is making people stay. The government is making people stay through creating more opportunity. Like there is big companies there moving their headquarters here.
Jobs.
So
but if we only had 2-year visas,
it's renewable.
It's renewable, but the process of every 2 years paying and going through that process, and historically, it's not just renewals; it's a lot of other factors that is not up to us, but it's politics as well, right? Historically, so now, in order for you to know, okay, I'm safe, I'm gonna stay here. Like I have the eligibility to stay here legally for 10 years. okay, you know what?
We're
This is
good.
my
Yeah,
true
yeah, yeah.
home. So it's a mixture of what he says
Yeah.
and still, otherwise,
Yeah.
why did the government take that initiative? What's
Yeah.
the purpose? They can make more money on renewals than only doing a 10-year
Exactly.
visa. You see
They're
what I'm
serving
saying?
their people. They're serving their
They're
people.
serving
And
the
they've
people.
always had it.
And the number
as a
of
perspective.
golden visas is exponentially growing. The people
I think
with golden-
300,000, something like that until today,
Yeah.
like 400,000
Just
golden
this year, no?
visas.
Yeah.
No. This year was like 130. I don't know. I'm not a
140,
numbers guy.
I believe, I'm not wrong.
I'm not a numbers guy.
But each year we have more
Applicants.
more golden
Yeah.
people with golden visa. And also there is something I want to talk to you about, guys. Like we're talking about how Dubai will
Slow down.
expand in terms of people, and like geographically, what I'm noticing is that there is expansion happening from a lot of sides. There's from Creek Harbor side, from West End side, but there's the Expo side, which is people are seeing from Dubai Island and Creek Harbor, but they're not seeing
No,
Yeah.
the
that's
main thing
side.
is Expo.
That's the side. That's the side.
Yeah.
But listen, at the end of the day, right? All of these things come down to something called short-term, mid-term, long-term investments.
Yeah.
That's what this all comes down to. Every real estate guy that's really interested in real estate understands that. You can't recommend something to someone on Palm Jebel Ali unless you tell them, look, this is an 8 to 10 year plan.
Yeah.
Right? If you're looking for something short term, you need to look into like Arjano Creek a little bit more mid-term, short term.
Yeah.
You see what I'm, as an example,
got your point,
right?
yeah.
You can't just recommend someone, but the future of Dubai is Dubai South. Yes, it is, but what kind of future are we talking about? I'm waiting for you. Are we talking that you're 10 minutes late or are you 3 hours late so I can do something else?
Yeah.
Meantime, you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I got your point.
Palm Jebel Ali is an 8 to 10 year plan, right? Dubai South, by the time that airport's done and settled fully, completely launched, right? And the surrounding areas are starting to get constructed around the airport and what's been done for the airport. That's a good 7 years, 8 years away.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So some people come and say, look, I want to invest in something and I want to be able to make some return on investment for the next 3 to 4 years and then I want to sell it. What should I look at? You can't recommend them Palm Jebel Ali.
But I would say though-
You can. Depends on their budget and
Yeah.
depends on financially where they are in life. Cool, they can. But you see what I'm saying? So all of these areas, again, depending on what kind of exit strategies do you have?
Yeah.
Short term, mid term, or long term?
Yeah, but I would say definitely like one of the things that is the responsibility of the broker is to make them understand that real estate is not a short-term game.
Yeah.
Real estate is always
In
a
this
long-term
region,
game.
unfortunately,
They-
because
that's
of
the thing everywhere, even in
because of-
Miami.
yeah.
People want money quick. They want to get rich quick, right? That's
Yeah.
just the
Human nature.
mentality of social media these days, that they want to live the high life and
Good
they want to
luck.
do it quick, right?
Good luck.
And so real estate is not the way to do it that way. It's whoever that buys at the right time and has holding power is the one that's going to make it, and that's one going to be able to sustain it. If I look at Arjan, for instance, right? I remember during the lockdown, I live in Barsha South, and I was always like, looking for fresh air. So I would always walk out to the balcony and look out, and all I would see is dirt. And that was
Sand.
Arjan I was looking at.
Yeah.
Sorry, sand, yeah.
I mean, dirt in American is sand.
You know, we look at dirt as real
Yeah.
estate,
Dirt
right?
is
Land
sand.
is dirt there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
here's sand, yes?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this is going to be key location
Yeah.
for development.
I love Arjan.
And now
Dubai
we're 4
Science
years
City.
later, 4 years later, you
Yeah.
can't buy a plot.
That it's
in
gone,
Arjan,
yeah.
Right? And this is 4 years later. Cranes everywhere, middle of the city.
Yeah.
You mentioned it as a place to live
Yeah.
and buy, right? But 4 years ago, you probably wouldn't be saying that. Is because at that time, we didn't look at it as that. Is because there was nothing happening.
Yeah.
I feel like Dubai South is going to just mushroom just like that.
Yeah.
And Palm Jebel Ali, probably mushroom just like that. Dubai Islands, happening today already as it is. So Dubai moves quick, right? And 10 years before you know it is going to be around, is going to be here. And real estate, as long as you look at it as a long-term plan, then the time is now. But anybody that wants to make short-term gains, you'll get hurt.
Stick to Airbnb and rely on tourism.
You know, there is
Everyone talks about short-term Airbnb, but then you
Yeah.
have to understand that the market must be there in order for you to do short-term and daily rents and weekly rents.
Yeah.
And tourism is heavily fluctuated on the other countries' economical situation if people can actually afford to even travel. right?
Yeah, actually,
Like if you look at this is what I'm saying, like everyone keeps on talking about short term. Yeah, short term, amazing, good. But what if tourism dips? What if tourism goes down 30%?
what if we will have a collapse? Because I'm hearing
Collapse is a strong word, but
All
I know
right,
what you're saying.
like a global. Because what's I'm noticing, something is strange that a lot of brokers are saying. I don't know if they're wrong or right. And because you're from the US, you will help me burst my bubble. So look, a lot of Asians, they're literally saying, or people from real estate, and they are like reputable people, they're very smart people. What they're saying is that the UAE, it's not going to be impacted with the global situation in the future because already Corona happened and nothing happened to us. The world was stuck, but not us. All right. Let me just finish the whole idea because it doesn't make sense to me. Each time the US collapses economically, the whole world get affected because of the dollars.
100%.
But now we have other factors. We have the BRICS. I don't know why people are talking about Bitcoin. It's all mixed, you know.
Yeah.
And I believe, I strongly believe, and a lot of people don't agree with me, that in 2025 and beginning 2026, we will have a recession in the US. If this will happen, I don't know what's going to happen here in Dubai.
So
in the midst of all this expansion.
Who should go first?
I mean, let's...
go, sir. I want to hear
I want to hear the Americans. Okay, let's give the Americans...
Okay. See, there's two ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
Dubai is heavily reliant on tourism, right?
Yeah.
Again, tourism cannot be predicted from inside of Dubai because Dubai has no fingers in those pies. That's the external countries and with their financial powers to actually travel. And to travel to Dubai is not very cheap, although hotel prices are quite low now, which kind of is a signal of what's happening tourist-wise. Cool. But internally, Dubai's we're just gonna continue growing. Why? We had how many licenses in 2023? I think we had over 50 or 60,000 business licenses being registered. This year, just in the first half, we had 30. So that means what? We are creating our own economy. Our economy's there, right? And people are moving to Dubai with all of the things that we've already discussed, the agenda, the developments, etc., taxes, etc., golden visas, etc., etc., etc. So there's two ways of looking at it. Like, are we comparing Dubai with Dubai internally, or are we talking about tourism? Yes, I do believe hospitality will take a big hit, 100%. Like, a lot of people cannot afford to travel to Dubai. They rather go to the cheaper areas. It's easier to go to Thailand and spend 15 dirham on a pad thai than coming here and spending 75 dirham on a pad thai. You see what I'm saying, right? The flight might be a little bit more expensive, but the family can stay there for 3 weeks rather than a week or 5 days in Dubai, right? Yeah. Yes, hospitality will definitely take a hit if other countries are not strong enough to travel to Dubai. Food and beverage, definitely. All the restaurants, all these beach clubs that we have in Dubai.
Because it's a domino effect. You know?
Of course, that's going to take a hit. But internally, in Dubai, with our GDP, the way we're opening up businesses and businesses being issued, no, we're self-sufficient. This is what I believe. I just look at how many trade licenses have been. However, I don't have the number of how many trade licenses actually been canceled. I don't have that number because you have to take into account to actually understand the net amount of businesses active. But this is the thing. And yes, Dubai, of course, has benefited from all the problems around the world, regardless if it's financial problems, unfortunate, tragic war problems, whatever the case is. It's a safe haven to people move their money. That's why we're coming back to the discussion of people looking for that fast money, because it booms quick here due to things that are not organic, due to the things that are from the outside.
Yeah.
This is my take on it.
I would say that I travel to US very frequently, although we've lived here now 5 years. I go almost every other month. And I went this summer, and I went after the elections.
Oh, okay.
The sentiment in the U.S., day and night difference. Day and night difference. With Trump elected, everybody feels that we were a much safer, better place in the U.S. than ever before. I think that will basically be the sentiment that's going to be felt around the world. Wars are really... not good for economies, I think. It creates fear, it creates this uncertainty for people. And if there's anything to be done about these wars, if they're allowed to be stopped, then I think that's going to be a good indicator of where our economy is going to be headed in the next 4 years while Trump is president. That's, I think, from a U.S. perspective goes. And of course, I still believe, as an American, and also I think as a business owner, we know that U.S. has a lot of influence over the global economies, right? Whether it be BRICS being introduced, or whether it be Bitcoin trying to decentralize the dollar, I think in our lifetime, I don't think we're going to be able to see the benefits, if that ever happens, to basically be able to affect economies like the US dollar or the American influence can. Now, from a perspective of where is it that we're going to see, what's going to happen in Dubai, I think here, we're building now an economy that is based upon true fundamentals than ever before, right? If we were able to survive the speculation era of Dubai, where that build it and there will come type of philosophy, and now we're dealing with people that are truly coming for the fundamentals. You have Abu Dhabi's, there's I forgot, this is bad that I don't know the name of that entity.
Okay, yeah.
But the DIFC of Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's okay, the DIFC of Abu Dhabi.
All right.
The DIFC of Abu Dhabi.
The financial district.
Yes.
All right.
They've had the most registrations of the smartest money looking to invest their money in the marketplace, opening their offices, bringing their key executives, and building Dubai and Abu Dhabi as their hub. And when you have that money coming in, it will replace the speculators, right? But you have to have a product that is built on true fundamentals. It can't just be a nice shiny object that people can basically buy just because you have a nice office and a nice brochure and nice amenities and so on and so forth. It has to be able to give a return on investment. It has to be able to deliver promises. It has to be able to sustain the evolution of economies, right? Whether it be a downturn cycle or an upturn cycle. And I think that's where I feel excited, that where Dubai is going to be able to become a true market where you'll have smart money even be able to find a home, not just money that is basically attracted by an attractive brochure.
What you said, it reminded me of this. Lately, I'm seeing these videos. They're popping up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And these videos mainly done by people from the US, and they're saying, the title of these videos is, where to go next if you are from the US, where to take your money.
Yeah.
It's like, I know, but you're an American citizen, so you don't want to hear this because it hurts. No. But I feel like, because I heard like
I can pick on myself.
500 of the biggest companies in the world and from the US, they're coming here. Like some of them are coming here to establish themselves here. What it feels like, Dubai or this region is like a refuge for what's gonna happen in the world. Like some people, I don't know if they're exaggerating, but they're saying that there's gonna be a huge collapse for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And those companies, they have to escape and they have to exist in another ecosystem where they can keep being functional.
Yeah.
So if this happens, if these people are right, then if a recession happens or God forbid, a depression in economy, this place would be like where people they will run to.
We will still thrive. Yeah. Based on everything that we just discussed.
Yeah.
We basically answered the actual question.
Yeah.
UAE as a
like
whole
back in the
is
days,
small.
people left. Like people are not leaving. Like there's only certain people that are leaving. Like there's a little bit of a Russians leaving, going back to Russia. Things kind of calmed down a little bit. They didn't understand that, having that lifestyle that they wanted to have is quite costly, more costly than they thought. But in terms of people, like, listen, I believe that every government, especially this one in the UAE, they have a plan. Yeah, in order to make a plan executed, you need to have crazy analysts. They've already analyzed everything in a profit loss for days, right? They've already analyzed all of these things. The amount of investments, the amount of hedge funds, the amount of investment companies and capital that are heavily invested here, they've already got plan B, C, D, E, F in case anything falls down. Externally as internally, they already have a plan because otherwise Dubai's gone, right? So there's so many indicators that indicate that even though there might be a correction, or you want to take it a step further, call it a crash or collapse internationally, whatever you want to call it, there is certain criteria that are already fulfilled as a backup. this is more than just us three at a table. These are
Yeah.
governmental entities with analysts.
No,
like
definitely. I mean, you look at the industries that are about to enter the UAE marketplace to boost tourism, such as the casinos. You look at the job creations from all these hedge funds that are going to be created. You look at the millionaires that are moving to the UAE.
Yeah.
Those aren't just speculators. Those are people that study the market and the opportunity and know that this is here for the long run. All right. And that's what makes me feel excited that this is the right place to be. Now, granted, you know, there is cycles in economies, right?
Yeah.
Not everything always
Exactly.
is headed to the
100%.
hills. It
We have a
has
correction.
to have a balance, and it has to have a reset or a correction in some way along the line. But I think Dubai will course correct. I think Dubai will course correct is because this is something that where we have a lot of responsible and businesses, and also a government that oversees and makes sure that it's good for the people for the long run. And I think that's what makes it a safe place to be, not only physically but also financially. That I think is what I feel confident that investing in Dubai is never going to be a wrong decision.
Yeah, and it's bigger than Dubai. For me, I know Dubai is the like the thing in the middle, like the main, like the jewel of this region.
Yeah.
But the whole region is interesting. I'm into movies and all of that.
Yeah.
And the same thing that's happening in Dubai in terms of business, it's happening in Saudi in terms of cinema. Like there is a lot of investments are happening in Saudi in terms of cinema. And, and there is a lot of, like if you go to the sports sector, you have big names. They're going from Europe to work in the to play in this case there is that work for them. You know what I mean? They're playing in the Saudi league. The big names, Cristiano is just one of them. There's some others, and they're younger. Cristiano is old, right? So there is an influx of a lot of things coming to Dubai or UAE or GCC countries, and that's how I see it from an external point of view. I see things are coming here. So that's why I feel like I'm in the beginning of a big era.
100%.
So yeah.
I mean, with 2034, the World Cup, FIFA going to Saudi Arabia. It's building momentum. It's building momentum towards being able to make their visions and also our region's visions come to life. Also talking about aviation. You know,
I mean, we already are leading. Like the top 3 or 4 or 5 aviations in the world, like at least 2 of them are from this region.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to the US, I dread getting on a 2-hour flight more than I dread taking a 15-hour flight from Miami to Dubai.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, but America, I'm sorry to say, but a lot of things in America, for the people that haven't been to America, like it's not what it seems.
Yeah.
They're extremely good at marketing. Hollywood is extremely good at marketing.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Once you get there, you're like, is this it?
Yeah.
Like Hollywood markets America in such a phenomenal way.
Yeah.
When you get there, you'll understand that 10% of whatever city you've decided to go to, 10% of that city is what you imagined. Then you go around the corner 2 blocks away and you see just trash.
Yeah.
It's just America. Like America is not a country. It's a company. You know, a company with a FICO score. It's true.
I would say that, like, I mean, I was raised there ever since I was 2 weeks old. And from that perspective, I would say that it's a great place for getting started. It's a great place to be able to raise a family, at least as I was growing up. But at the same time, when you open your options in the world, right, it probably doesn't make number 1 anymore, right? I would say as a family man.
Same way I feel about Sweden.
Yeah, as a Muslim, it's okay. As a family man, as a Muslim, as a business owner, I feel much more at home here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, which film is it? Perfect example.
Yeah.
When they ask a student in a university and said, what makes America the best country in the world? And the guy stands up and starts screaming at the student saying, well, we're 17th in this.
Yeah.
34th
Oh, I've seen that. I don't remember
that. So he said, when you're talking about we're the best at anything, I have no effing idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like he comes out with these numbers.
Black
we're
and
like
white facts.
highest ratio of suicides, highest ratio of, or incarcerated people. And 17th in maths and 47th in this and 31st in
Yeah,
this. I don't know what
yeah.
you're talking about. So, like, which country is the greatest country in the world? Depends what you consider is the greatest country in the world in your own little space, in your own little life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some people come to Dubai and they hate it.
Yeah.
Because they got 5 kids and they know going to Dubai is going to be very tough for me
Yes.
because having 5 children in Dubai is rather
It's very hard,
expensive.
yeah.
Agreed.
Right? And if you
Yeah.
come as a single person and you just want to work, it's the best place in the world. Hey, tax free. Then you just
Yeah.
think you only focus on that part. It depends what you're focused in life for, right?
Also, like each a cycle of a city attracts people, each human from that cycle. Like
Of
for example,
course.
if Dubai is a young city, it's better for the young people. Sweden, it's an established country. You know what I mean? So it will be beneficial for people with families.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
like each country or city in a certain cycle of the life of that city will attract people from that cycle as well.
Yeah.
So that's how we see it.
No, for sure. I think one thing that we have to all agree is that opportunity is how you look at it, right? Some people will perceive even a down market as a place of being able to thrive.
100%.
And others, even in a good market, they're going to think that, oh, life is over.
Yeah.
So it all depends upon the perception
Yeah.
and the level of talent and commitment and passion that you bring to be able to serve your clients. Main Realty's positioned itself, I think, very well for whatever the market does to be here for the long run and build a product and a service that's being able to be appreciated by the end user, not just us as a
True.
developer. And I think all the locations, the plot, feasibilities and the locations that we're looking for are all built with that in mind. I'm sure marketing also is the same way. You have to basically try to create content that is able to be consumed and do good for your audience, even if they don't buy your product, right?
Yeah.
And that's where it goes viral. That's where it goes to different heights. And from you also, right? You're
Adding
serving
value, adding value.
yeah. We're all serving. We all have to put other people's needs before our own.
True.
Yeah.
And if we do that effectively and we do that responsibly, I think that's really what matters at the end of the day.
And
no
that's the
matter what
key of
economy
success.
does. Yeah.
Once you put your customers before you, I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of clips about that. They all have one point in common: the customer, the person, whatever you're creating, whoever is consuming it,
It's
he's
cool.
more important than you.
It's called customer centric.
Exactly.
Customer centric.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Jeff
got it. You
Bezos
hit it on
talk
the
about
nail.
that. Customer centric.
It's marketing
Like
term,
mentality,
customer
yeah.
centric.
Yes.
Growth hacking term, actually.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Customer centric.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
We wrap this.
Yes.
Let's wrap it
I
up.
think it was a good
was
conversation.
amazing. Thank
we
you
have
for
a lot
having me.
more to talk about in the next episode. And so I thank you so much, guys, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to seeing you guys at the next.
Appreciate
Guys,
it.
subscribe. This is the place to get the most interesting information, exclusive stuff, no myths, no BS.
No BS.
Yeah.
No
And
BS.
guys, travel to Miami and have some chicken and waffles.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
Take care.